Hello, I'm speaking to you today from the Maples Retirement Living Scheme, where I've been enjoying a lovely lunch with the residents. When I was at primary school, I remember learning about things growing by planting mustard and cress seeds on damp cotton wool. Then over the following days, I remember marvelling at how those little black specks grew up into little green shoots, and after a week or so, we cut the resulting plants with scissors and made little sandwiches that we were actually allowed to tuck into. I'm afraid to admit that I'm not a natural gardener, and my attempts at horticulture have not progressed much since then. The outdoor space at home is definitely my husband's jurisdiction, but I still feel the wonder I felt then at the way tiny, nondescript seeds can, with a little care and attention, grow into such a variety of wonderful plants, each bringing their own gifts, whether a beautiful flower or a tasty vegetable. Perhaps then it's no wonder that Jesus tells several stories about seeds being planted and growing, and that in some of them, today's included, he uses this as an analogy for God's kingdom. The mustard seed he is speaking of course, is not the stuff I planted with my cress. It is thought to be the seed of the black mustard plant, which grows throughout Palestine and Israel, and can grow to be up to 8 foot tall. It spreads with ease, and it's been described as invasive. This short parable appears in Matthew and Luke's Gospels too, but they exaggerate somewhat in describing the mustard plant as a tree. Mark is more accurate with his description of the greatest of all shrubs. The kingdom of God, unlike earthly kingdoms, is not a single geographic place. Christians debate whether the kingdom of God has arrived or is in the future. Perhaps it's something that is growing but not yet fully formed. The kingdom of God is when and where God rules, when and where we acknowledge him as king, and when and where we work with him to create communities that reflect his values: love, mercy, kindness, and generosity. The description of the kingdom of God being like a mustard seed that grows is a good parallel in a whole host of ways. The growth from a seed is mysterious. It can be unexpected. It happens when we are not looking. It is not fully under our control. It brings something so much bigger than expected out of something so tiny. This last point makes it also a very good analogy for the work that MHA does through befriending. In our MHA Sunday video this year, we meet Dot and Grace. Dot had a really difficult time a couple of years ago. Not only was she facing the same restrictions as the rest of us during the COVID pandemic, but she had lost both her husband and her twin sister in quick succession. She was experiencing severe social isolation. She was feeling very low, and she says that if it weren't for her much-loved cat, she's not sure she would have had the strength to carry on. But Dot was fortunate. She was put in touch with MHA and told about our telephone befriending. She was matched with volunteer Grace, and the rest, as they say, is history. Grace and Dot, despite their only contact until now being over the phone, really got to know each other. They bonded and became like family. What struck me when I met them, and when they met one another for the first time, was how they truly saw and valued each other. That and how much they shared the same slightly naughty sense of humour. My colleagues in the befriending service had certainly done a great job in matching them with one another. The small commitment to make a call once a week had blossomed into a real, mutual, life-giving relationship that was bringing huge joy and laughter to both Dot and Grace. MHA has been working to support people in later life for over 80 years now. Like a growing plant, it has changed and developed and spread during that time. Our initial work, providing homes for older people in need of a secure place to live, spread across the country. In time, as we identified other needs, we branched out into sheltered accommodation and then support for people still living in their own homes. As we developed, we established a music therapy service, increased our expertise in nursing and dementia care, and strengthened our ability to support people's spiritual needs by growing our chaplaincy service. Across all our work, We recognise the importance of relationships in building social and emotional well-being, and our activities across homes, retirement living and community schemes encourage this. Telephone befriending enables us to support people with positive and supportive relationships no matter where they live. MHA was born out of Methodism, envisioned by a Methodist minister, Reverend Walter Hall, and established by the Methodist Conference. At its best, our work contributes to the work of building the kingdom of God, and with it bringing the welcome, love and laughter that I believe are features of that kingdom. Meeting Dot and Grace has been an experience of seeing kingdom values in action, where the care and concern of one person for another grows into something big, beautiful and life-giving. So now I invite you to consider how you are being called to respond to their story. Might you be a telephone befriender, bringing companionship to someone who otherwise would be isolated? Or could you volunteer as an MHA rep, linking your circuit with our work on an ongoing basis? If you already have an MHA rep, could you offer them your help and support? Can you make praying for our work a regular part of your pattern of prayer? Can you support us financially with a donation today? Whatever you're able to do, we welcome you to join with us in building a network of support and fellowship for those in later life, where, just like the birds nesting in the mustard plant of our parable, all are welcomed in.